Fine. So we were looking at Runge's function, and that was given by 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 25x square in the range of minus 1 to plus 1, and we took 11 points in that range in that example that we were doing, that we saw the plot. So let me just generate those points equidistant. So linspace is the command for linearly spaced divisions between any interval. So I give minus 1 to 1 and I need 10 intervals. Normally it will give me a row vector, so I want a column vector, so I transpose that. So as you can see, these are the points which divide the interval minus 1 to plus 1 in 10 equal segments, and you will find that these are let me just say 11 points. Yeah, this makes more sense. So size x, so these are the 11 points we have. So symmetrically placed about the origin 0, right? And now I can define the function values at these points, and that would be 1.0 divided by 1.0 plus 25 multiplied by x So this dot and star, that represents term element by element multiplication. Otherwise x multiplied by x, 11 by 1 vector multiplying with another 11 by 1 vector is mathematically invalid operation. So what we need to do is we are looking at x square. We need x square. So that's element by element multiplication. So minus 1 gets multiplied with minus 1, minus 0.8 gets multiplied with minus 0.8, and so on. So each element gets multiplied with corresponding element again. And then it is multiplied with the scalar 25. So all of them, this entire vector is scaled by 25. And then again, this 1 is not going to work. I need to define 11 by 1. So ones. So again, element by element addition. So the expression was 1 over 1 plus 25x square. So that is what we are trying to simulate here. And if you, this is again, it gives me a column vector, row vector. So I just so if you want, I can plot this. There is something wrong here. It should be the other way around. It is. Let me just see. Is it 1 over 1 minus 25x square? No. x square 0, so that will be the maximum value. Is something wrong? Let me just look at
Sir,
the.
I think bracket is missing here.
Pardon?
Bracket is missing, sir.
Bracket is missing.
Sir, in the
Okay.
Yes, sir, but
Yeah, yeah. It should be again. Yes. So division should also be term by term division. So this is a function. I mean, of course, you get a. I mean, these are only discrete points. So it's only plotting the discrete joints. If I plot it using, let's say, GNU plot, okay. This makes life little easier. You can have this GNU plot, and I can define function fx is equal to 1.0 divided by 1 plus 25 multiplied by x multiplied by x. And then I can define plot in the range minus 1 to plus 1 f of x. There you go. This is the function that we have actually, and in the octave plot window you see this because they are only discretely sampled points at 11 number of points, and they are just being joined by line segments between those, in between those intervals. So actual function is such a smooth function. So now the problem is we are trying to interpolate this Lorentz function by using these function values at 11 discrete points. And one way would be just uh, evaluate Lagrangian interpolation, or let's try to do that by using uh, Newton polynomial. So let us tabulate the values. Let me just get the values x and y. So these are the values x and y. So let me just tabulate these values for you so that we can work with these. Okay. How do I? So I have here x and then f of x. So let us start with minus 1. F of x is 0.03846 and then x is minus 0.8 and f of x is 0.05882. And then I have minus 0.6.1 oops and then minus 0.4.2 minus 0.2, that would be 0.5 minus, no, this is just 0, and at 0.0 we have 1.0 and it is symmetric. So rest of the points are symmetric. So I can generate this rest of the data points here. So 0.2 would be 0.500, 0.4 it would be 0.2, 0.6 it is going to be 0.100, 0.8 is going to be 0.05882 and then 1.0 it's going to be 0.03846. So now we look at divided difference, first order divided difference. Okay, 0th order divided difference is just this function value, right? So this is same as I can just say zeroth order divided difference is the function value at that point itself, and then I can say I plus 1. So that would be this value 0.058. Let me just say, so 0.05882 minus 0.03846, and that will be divided by 0.2. So this would be given by 0.5, sorry, 0.05882 minus 0.03846 divided by minus 0.8 plus 1.0. So this is essentially given by, I can replace this, and this is given by this entire expression I can write as 0.1018. And similarly, I can find the divided difference between these 2 points, minus zero point 0.8 and minus zero point 0.6, as zero point 0.1 minus 0.05882 and divided by zero point 0.2, that is equal to 0.2059, and here it will be again 0.1 divided by 0.2, so this is going to be 0.50, right? And this is going to be 0.3 divided by 0.2, so this is 1.50, and this one is 1 minus zero point 0.5, so that is 0.5, 0.5 divided by 0.2, so that is going to be 2.5, and again we go to 0.5 divided by minus 1, so that would be minus 0.5, minus 0.5 divided by 0.2, so that would be negative 2.5, so I can have here minus 2.5, it will be similar thing except with negative sign, 0.00, and this would be minus 0.2059, and this would be minus 0.1018. So these are the first order divided differences, and now the second order divided difference would be derived from these two. So it would be difference of 0.2059 minus 0.1018 divided by the difference between this point and this point. So minus zero point 0.6 plus 0.4, 1.0. So if I can write this as so this is second order divided difference. So it is going to be the difference from two first order differences. So that would be 0.2059 minus 0.1018 divided by the points which are bracketing these, so that would be minus 0.6 and minus of minus 1, so that would be plus 1, So this is the second order divided difference, and that we can compute as 0.2059 minus 0.1018 divided by 0.4. So this evaluates to 0.26. So this simply evaluates to 0.26025. And similarly, now if I take the second order difference between 0.2059 and zero point 0.5, then I would be looking at the interval between point minus zero point 0.8 to minus zero point 0.4. So the divided difference here would work out to, second order divided difference would work out to 0.5 minus 0.20259 divided by 0.4. So this is 0.73525 and so on. So this way we can keep on generating this table of divided differences, and in the end we will end up with one point here that would be the n minus 1th divided difference, and that would be the coefficient of nth degree polynomial. And from then onwards we will keep on picking up the top of this number and add on the, accumulate the terms. I mean, the approximating polynomial would then be given as f hat n Cn multiplied by x minus xn plus Cn minus 1 multiplied by x minus 1 plus Cn minus 2 multiplied by x minus x n minus 2 plus, and so on until you end up with a constant term C0, that would be this term C0. So this would be the coefficient C0, and somewhere here you would end up with Cn, I mean middle of it, middle of the range, you will end up with Cn. So the idea is you can keep on picking up these coefficients, all these coefficients that you see here, Cn, Cn minus 1, so this Cn, Cn minus 1, Cn minus 2, etc., they would all be appearing in this top of the order. So this is C1, C0, and this one is C1, and this coefficient is going to be C2, and so on. So once you compute this, then you can compute this Newton interpolating polynomial by using this Harner's algorithm, and then you can generate the polynomial and polynomial function approximation and plot. So, any questions with this process? Anyone? Oh,
Sir,
yes.
I don't have a doubt, but I just want to know why are we calling them divided difference? I mean, uh, these are just the slopes, like the third column that we written, we call it zeroth order divided difference. It's just the slope, right?
It is, I mean, first order divided difference is just the finite difference.
Yes.
The slope gradient, the way you approximate the first derivative by using finite differences, so that is the first order divided difference. Right?
Okay.
F of x1 minus f of x0 divided by x1 minus x0. This is how you approximate
Yes, sir.
df by dx, isn't it?
Yes, that's why I'm asking.
Right? But the second order divided difference is the difference of two first order differences.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? So it's like a second order derivative.
Hmm.
It
Okay.
is proportional to second order derivative and so on. So each progressive, I mean, it is a cascading system. As you go down, as you go move towards the right, results are defined by the results that you compute on the left hand side. You start with the function values,
Yes,
then
sir.
using the function values at two consecutive points, you find out first order difference. Using two first order differences, you find out second order difference. Using two second order differences, you find out third order difference.
Yes, sir.
Right? So
Okay. I got it.
it is the difference of previous order of differences and divided by the interval between them.
All right, sir. Now I got it.
Yeah. Okay, so there is a way of computing this. Now I also discussed. I mean, you can complete this exercise and compute the complete 10th degree polynomial and see how it looks like and whether you get the same kind of wild oscillations about near the endpoints for the 10th degree polynomial passing through these 11 number of points. But you can also see uh, we also discussed the Hermite interpolation polynomials where we look at not just the function values but also look at the gradient. So there is a uh, way to generate these approximation polynomial, interpolation polynomial by in a piecewise manner. So instead of the whole problem with uh, the polynomial problem, the interpolation problem that we had been dealing with is that we were trying to generate approximating function over the entire range, single approximation function which will uh, provide the approximation over the entire range. Now that is a too ambitious goal. If we break down the problem into simpler parts like saying that we will only look at one interval at a time and develop a suitable approximation over these intervals, then it might be possible to generate a better fit polynomial. So let us look at that. So let me divide this at a this range -1 to +1 at a more refined interval. So let's say I generate it at 1001 points. So instead of 11 points, I generate 1001 points. Right. So XX, if you want, I mean these are the points. So as you can see, these are very closely spaced. The spacing is 0.002. So these are very closely spaced, and now I try to define a cubic interpolation polynomial over each of these intervals. So over these intervals from between 0.998, I will sample. These are the points that I use for sampling, but initial data that we have is this. So what I will try to do is I will try to generate piecewise cubic Hermite interpolation polynomial between first this interval, then I will generate it for this second interval, then for third interval, and so on. So at a time I will only use two data pairs, and then having generated that, I will use that to sample it at these points. Right. So let us see. So yy is the there is a function in Octave which generates this thing, piecewise cubic Hermite interpolation polynomial. We discussed the theory yesterday. How do we generate that? It's going to be a cubic function because there are four constraints, total four constraints at 2 points. So we can fit a cubic polynomial to with the help of those four constraints. So what it does is x, y is the data points that we have, x and y data points, and xx is the value, these values at which this piecewise cubic Hermite interpolation polynomials have to be evaluated. And those